Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Innovate and Caffeinate. If you don't know me, I am Tamara Bennett, Regional Coordinator for Grow West Kentucky and Lead Coordinator for Murray-Callaway County Innovate and Caffeinate. We have officially switched back to our monthly format and we went ahead and moved back to our original time of 7:30 a.m. All of this is so we can be prepared for when we come back to in-person sessions, which we hope to do in 2021. I am so excited to announce you to this month's speaker. Her name is Tamara Bennett, and she founded Southern A-Door-nments located here in Murray, Kentucky. She is a local hometown girl who has built a seven-figure business online, starting out as a military wife and staying at home with small children. Thank you, Tamara, so much for sharing your journey with us this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, we are so excited you're here with us this morning. So let's just get started with how you got into this business and where you are today.
So I'm from Murray, Kentucky, and for years I had been doing paint parties in Murray, in people's homes, in church fellowship rooms, in our local restaurants and things like that. This business kind of actually got started when my husband was deployed to Afghanistan. I needed something to kind of occupy my time. I was home with two little boys and I just needed like some sort of creative outlet plus the social aspect because I was tired of talking to kids all day long. So I started having craft parties in my home once a month, and I would invite my friends over and we would paint something together or make something. And it was just a really great way to kind of like use your hands and get to spend time with your friends. And then when my husband came home from deployment, we were needing extra income, and I'm like, there's got to be a way to turn this into a business. Because at the time I was only doing it for social enjoyment. I was not a business at all. And so I took one of the projects that we had done more than once, which was door hangers. And so if you're not sure what a door hanger is, I can show you real quick. They are a wooden cutout that is painted and hangs on your front door as opposed to a wreath. Lots of people from up north don't know what they are, but I'm pretty sure most Western Kentuckians probably know what a door hanger is. So I started doing paint parties. I would get together with you and your friends at the local restaurant, and I would bring all the supplies, and you would paint together for 2 to 3 hours, and then you would take something home to hang on your front door. And so it eventually developed into what I'm doing today, which is doing the same thing, but I'm teaching it all online through Facebook and a membership site. And so it is incredible how much my business has changed just in the last 5 years.
That is awesome. So when you first started, this was a fun thing for you. And now in our description, we said you grew this business tremendously. How long have you been doing this?
I started this business in 2015, and I took it online around mid-2016. And then I didn't start my membership site until 2018. So it's really taken off just in the last two and a half years or so online. And a little over a year ago, I completely stopped doing anything in person. And now my business is 100% online. I teach everything from the spot you're seeing right now. This is my video backdrop. I teach all of my painting videos right here inside my craft room. And I'm able to reach thousands more women through the power of the internet.
That's fantastic. So since you're completely online now, COVID probably didn't interrupt your business too much, but was there anything you had to change, adapt to because of COVID?
Actually, COVID turned out to be a blessing in disguise for my business. My business blew up when COVID happened in a good way. Around the time COVID happened and everybody had to go into quarantine back in March, we launched every 6 months or so, we will launch our membership, which means we open the doors again and invite new members in. And then we close the doors and we focus on serving them in the meantime. So we had just opened our doors in March, and we had about 400 new members join. And so those ladies knew that they were going to be stuck at home with nothing to do. And it's like, well, I might as well take this time to learn to paint. And I think everybody else that had been just watching and not doing on all of my videos suddenly felt the same way. And all of a sudden we had like hundreds and hundreds of new customers. We were selling more and more. And so we have been shipping all summer long all of these wooden blanks to customers, and then teaching them how to paint them on the membership and on our on our Facebook page. And so it's been crazy good, but also a little bit stressful. One of the things that we started doing differently inside our membership is that back in April, we did what we called social distancing Zoom calls. And so once a week, we were doing them once a month, but then we got to where we were doing them once a week. All the ladies would get together on Zoom, they would paint together and just chat. And so essentially it was like the benefits that you get from coming to a paint party, but you were doing it from the safety of your own home. And so that is one thing that we've implemented, and it's gone really, really well. It's allowed the ladies to connect with one another.
That's fantastic. So I don't know if you actually remember, but I've actually gone to a few of your paint parties. I think I've painted maybe 4 door hangers, and I've actually picked up one from you, I think, before. You no longer offer paint parties, but you have kind of switched your model a little bit. So let's talk about what happens if somebody is in a membership. Like, how did you come up with that idea, and why did you pivot to that?
Okay, so back when you were coming to my parties, I do recognize your face, and I couldn't remember where I knew you from, but usually that's how it is. I've met so many people through getting to do this kind of business that I forget sometimes how I know people. But, you know, back in the old days when I would do a paint party with you, we would be teaching, you know, a group of maybe 20 women at most, sometimes 30, and then you guys would all take the project home with you. Well, I got to where I was also taking orders for painted door hangers that I was painting one at a time here at home. And while I was painting those, I thought, you know what, like, I miss like talking to, like, I get bored easily. And so even just sitting here is not entertaining enough for me, obviously. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try out this thing called Facebook Live. And so I would turn it on and I would paint, and I would look and see if any, you know, I would just talk as if somebody was sitting there listening to me, and somebody would pop up and ask a question or like ask about what I was doing. And so it got to where it was a social thing there too. I would be painting people's orders. Then I ended up answering questions on Facebook Live, and I didn't intend on it to go this way, but I ended up becoming like the door hanger teacher online. I was doing it for myself, just to have social interaction with someone while I painted. But it turned out that I became the virtual teacher, and people would ask questions. And so I did this for about 1.5 years before I finally came up with the idea for a membership site, because it's so hard. Like, if I'm the only one talking on a Facebook Live and you're just commenting, you can't show me pictures of your project and what you're working on and ask questions in the moment. And I can't really give you detailed instruction like I can in a membership. And so I launched the Painters Clubhouse in April 2018. And I started giving women 2 door hanger tutorials every single month. And then I would give them technique videos that were specific to like hand lettering or bow making or something like that. And these ladies were experiencing so much more success inside the membership site because they were now able to post their photos and ask for feedback from me and the other painters in the group. And if they were having a problem, they could say, has anybody else experienced this? And they get immediate feedback. And so it's been really great. We now have like an entire success path that takes you from a beginner painter all the way to an advanced painter who's ready to start a business. And then this past summer during COVID, we actually launched a business coaching membership for door hanger painters. So it's a super specific business membership that is there to help you if you are a door hanger painter. And so I'm taking everything that I've learned over the last 5 years about business and instilling it into these ladies who are now ready to start their own businesses. A lot of them are teaching paint parties in their hometowns and taking orders for painted door hangers. And it's just amazing to see what all these ladies have been able to do through my teaching.
Wow, that is awesome. We'll just call you the door hanger guru.
I'll take that.
So this all started in our little town of Murray, Kentucky. So where is your furthest customer? Do you have that information?
Actually, the farthest that I know of is I have someone over in Denmark who is a member. And so it's really incredible to see how far, you can reach people. I have followers who are from Australia. As far as the lady from Denmark, she's the furthest one that's in my paid membership, but I do have followers from all over the world, from India and Australia and everywhere else. It's amazing.
That is amazing. That is fantastic. So what advice do you have? Obviously, you're doing a business coaching specifically for people wanting to open up a paint business, but for anybody who is in business, what is some advice that you would give them when getting started?
The number one thing that I teach my ladies up front is to put yourself out there. Because if you aren't going to be willing to show your face, to talk on video, or be uncomfortable a little bit, because this is a little uncomfortable, like talking on video and like having to put yourself out there. And I may seem comfortable and confident right now, but inside I'm like all jitters and excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous because you never know how you're going to be perceived. But the thing is if you are 100% yourself, people are either going to love you or they're going to hate you. If they're going to hate you, they won't follow you. They won't come and buy from you. But if they love you, they're going to be like raving fans kind of love for you. I now have over 200,000 followers on my Facebook page, and it's people who are so like enamored with my Kentucky accent and the way that I'm just 100% myself all the time. I don't mind like telling you about something crazy that I did or something crazy my kids do. My kids come in here all the time while I'm doing videos. I try to 100% be myself. That way I'm not having to put on an act. It's much easier to be yourself than it is to try to put on some sort of performance or an act. And so be yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. One of the things I always tell my ladies is if you've got a door hanger that you're trying to sell, it's going to sell so much better if it's a picture of you holding it up and smiling, or you hanging it on your door. If your face is in it, people will stop scrolling and try to figure out if they know you, or I don't know, it just catches their eye so much better. And then the other thing that I want to say is there's always going to be competition out there. A huge part of my business is community over competition. So if you can build a community around you and make people feel included and build that community up to where everyone is supportive of one another, it's going to build you up and you're going to do so much better in business. I have so many business friends of mine who are technically my competitors, but we are best friends in business and we support one another. And it's so nice to have somebody that I can go to and talk to that understands what it's like. And so we don't worry about whether or not that person is doing better than I am in business. I recommend that you put on blinders and you just worry about your own business. You worry about how you can serve your audience, and all of that other stuff doesn't matter. So that's my advice.
That is excellent advice. We're always advocates of community over competition as well. Let's see, another question. What was some of the hardest challenges that you faced over the years? One that really just kind of sticks out in your mind. It could be, you know, something that set you back or a reason that you had to pivot or whatever.
It's in the early days, it was a lot of self-doubt. You know, I didn't know whether or not people would be like, I knew I had a good support system here in Murray doing my local paint parties because I had friends. I was deeply rooted in this community. I was born here. Everybody knows me. And so I had no doubt that I had plenty of support around here. But stepping out into the online space, it's very vulnerable. It makes you feel very vulnerable. And I had a lot of self-doubt about whether or not people would, you know, even care to watch me, or, you know, I ramble a lot when I talk. So I worry about whether or not that's going to get on people's nerves. But if it does, those people aren't my perfect people. They're not my ideal customer. And so I've kind of had to learn to like get over that and just not worry about it. Another thing that was a struggle for me was, for a long time, I felt like I was doing this alone. I didn't have any team members to help me, which is kind of funny because when I talk to people here locally about what I do, they'll say, well, how many employees do you have? And I'm like, well, I technically have like an online team of 12 or 13 contractors who work with me, but they're virtual assistants. I really only have one person here in Murray who actually works for my business, and she could be virtual, but I lucked out and I actually got somebody local who's working for me. And so now that I'm not having to do this alone, that in and of itself has been amazing, because I have people behind me who, if I'm having tech troubles or struggling with how to deal with a situation, I can go to them and they can help me out. And so the tech has always been a bit of a struggle for me, but if you can find good help, I mean, it doesn't even have to be somebody in your local area. I have people who work for me who live in Nevada, in Pennsylvania, and Louisiana, like all over the place. And so they're out there and they're looking for people to help, and they're called virtual assistants. So nowadays you can hire somebody even if they don't live in your hometown. And so if you can find help, it can really help propel your business forward.
So I know this question might catch you off a little guard because I didn't ask you beforehand, but you are a mom with 2 boys. So how has that, working from home with 2 kids and while your husband was deployed, how did you handle all of that?
Actually, now we have 3. Can you believe I started my business while I was pregnant with a 3rd? She's 5 now and she just started to kindergarten. So this is the first time I've been able to like get back to work without kids in the house. So normally right now you would be hearing kids running around here, but now they're all at school. So in the early days, I just had to find time when they were either taking naps or occupied with a video game or something, just to find time to work. I have always been a big proponent on having a set bedtime every single night. And so I at least knew, if nothing else, after 8:30 at night, I would have time to myself again. And so in the early days, I was doing a lot of this around nap time and bedtime and late at night. I would go on Facebook Live after I put them to bed a couple nights a week. And so now, thankfully, they're back in school and I can like get most of my work done during the day when they're not even here. But you know, if you can carve out time like that, you know, when they're either taking a nap or in bed, or if you can create something special that they get to do when you need a break. One of the simplest things that I did was I went to Walmart and bought big bags of dried pinto beans. And it's the silliest thing, but I saw it on Pinterest. I put them in this big clear plastic tub with some little dump trucks and things. And my boys, if they were driving me batty, I would pull that out of the top of the closet and that would entertain them for a good 30 minutes to an hour and give me a break. So if you can take things like that and stash them away where the kids can't get to them unless you really need, you know, a few minutes, and then pull those out when you need it, it's really helpful.
I have actually done the same thing. We have our own little box filled with colorful pinto beans as well. Except one day, I think my husband was supposed to be watching him, and we had what we called the bean disaster of 2019. There was beans everywhere.
Oh no!
But they do keep the kids really entertained, and I do agree that it's a good way to keep them away from things. So I think that's all of my questions I've got for you this morning. Is there any other parting words you would like to say?
I can't think of anything. I really hope that somebody who's watching this right now, if they're feeling like they don't know what to do in the online business, that they'll just take the leap. You know, just figure out how you can help people. If you can help somebody solve a problem, you know, if you're selling clothes and somebody has a hard time figuring out what kind of clothing will fit their body, then figure out a way to teach them what to wear on their body type. For me, it's about painting and giving somebody a creative outlet and helping them believe that they can do something they didn't think they could do. Because a lot of people will say, I don't have a creative bone in my body, or I don't have a painting bone in my body. Well, that's only because they have been telling themselves that since childhood. Maybe there's not any artists in their family and they don't realize that it's a possibility. But if I can get them to believe for just a split second that I can teach them something, then I have their attention. And so no matter what it is that you do, if you're a plumber, start sharing plumbing tips. I would love if somebody could right now give me a plumbing tip on how to fix the little pop drain in my daughter's bathtub. You know what I mean? Like, just figure out problems that real people have and then go online and start serving those people and giving them solutions to their problems. And you'll have a line out the door of customers that are ready to sign up for whatever it is you have to offer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. Yes, I have plenty of those little solutions I need to go find YouTube videos for. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story with us. And we hope you have a great rest of your morning.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
If you are interested in being a presenter at Innovate and Caffeinate, please reach out to your local community coordinator. Right now with Murray, we're still doing ours virtually, and I think we are booked for the rest of the month with partner organizations. But come 2021, we will be looking for new speakers and hopefully be able to be in person. If you're interested in bringing Innovate and Caffeinate to your community as a brand, please reach out to Melanie Tapp. She's our regional coordinator, and her email is now on the screen. Also, remember, we're going back to our monthly format, so we won't see you next week. We will see you on November 4th. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your morning.